A couple of years ago, I made a video super stoked on this AVerMedia capture dock that lets you capture your Switch, Steam Deck, iPad, and use it as a normal TV dock with USB hub and a headphone jack. Connect it to a computer for capture or streaming, and had a built-in capture card for recording to micro SD. I still love this dock, and I wound up getting two, and I still use it to this day at my main TV setup, primarily for our Switch that we use with my family setup. But in the studio, my favorite solution here has actually shifted to a capture card that AVerMedia released last year. I got to preview the Elite Go docks at TwitchCon 2024 and immediately told the AVerMedia rep that I needed it in my possession ASAP. And I've been loving this thing. This tiny little square gives you two USB Type-C ports capable of delivering 100 watts of power each, I'm pretty sure, for power delivery, HDMI 2.0 video output, and a USB Type-A port for connecting devices. There's actually two of these Go devices from AVerMedia. One is just a dock without capture support. The other has a full capture card built in. While the normal dock is a fine addition to that ecosystem for those who aren't creators, I'll be focusing on the capture dock here for the Elite Go. One USB-C port is for your portable device being docked, a Nintendo Switch, USB-C iPad, Steam Deck, or similar handheld that supports it. You get full fast charging and video and data transfer over this port. The second USB-C port here is for a secondary computer for capture purposes, which also just happens to be able to deliver 100-watt charging if you're using a MacBook or something for it for capture, but not necessary if you're using a desktop. The USB-A port lets you connect a mouse or keyboard or USB hub to add more things to the dock. At my work desk here, I just keep the dock plugged into a power outlet close by, then the HDMI runs to an HDMI switch for my main display, USB cable runs to a USB switcher that switches my mouse and keyboard between computers, and the USB-C capture port runs to whichever computer I'm gonna capture on at that point in time. Then I get the freedom to stash my deck anywhere or continue using it handheld, which is actually a lot quicker for quick capture purposes, honestly. I like being able to just plug in the USB-C, hold it, and start playing to capture whatever I need to capture. On that software capture side, you get a low latency, uncompressed video feed with audio. You can send up to 4K 60 Hz through to your display, while capture is limited to 1080p, which for these smaller handheld devices is totally fine given the circumstances, in my opinion. You get NV12, which is uncompressed 420 video, and YUY2, which is uncompressed 422 chroma subsampling video, all the way up to 1080p 60 capture, which means you won't have any quality loss or text issues or anything like that before the feed hits compression for YouTube, Twitch, or anything really. MJPEG is also available if you're using a video calling application for streaming or video conferencing or lower power capture uses. This is a near perfect set of capture specs for this given kind of device, including even a Steam Deck native mode of 1280 by 800, which allows me to get perfect captures of my Steam Deck gameplay and use of it that matches exactly how it looks on the Steam Deck screen itself. These are passed through to the HDMI feed, however, which is the ideal way you would want that to work for zero latency, but also means your display may not support it. My 4K TV doesn't actually like the 1280 by 800 signal from my Steam Deck, so your mileage may vary there. The dock does default to a 4K display for whatever device you connect to it, so you'll need to set it to specify a lower resolution if you want there. Unfortunately, while the Steam Deck mode is great, there isn't an iPad native 4x3 mode, so you'll have to deal with the pillar boxing and crop it yourself out of the 1080p capture, but that's fine, not a huge deal. Speaking of iPad, I did want to note that the first units I received of these Elite docks pre-release had some bizarre issues with both iPad and iPhone, where there were some weird scaling issues that applied to the footage and mucked it all up. Nothing I did on the software side would fix it, but AVerMedia sent me replacements and the issue is totally gone. They have been unable to recreate this issue on their end with retail units, so if you happen to have that issue somehow, just reach out to AVerMedia and ask for a replacement. Beyond that initial pre-release sample issue, I've been using this to capture Steam Deck, Switch, iPad Pro, and iPhone 16 Pro footage without any issues, so works great. I don't have a Switch 2 to test, but AVerMedia has released updates to make this and their other docks compatible with the Switch 2, so you're covered there too. This is a much more convenient way to capture these handheld devices than any solution I've been using previously, and I just wanted to share, even though I'm quite late to the party here. I promise I'm getting caught up on capture card reviews this year, all right? The only other quirks worth mentioning here is that, say, on Windows, when you connect the second USB port to your computer, it pops up a weird error that the USB speed is too slow for DisplayPort to work properly. Like the drive is reporting that even the capture side of the USB is a video output when it's not, but it doesn't actually cause any problems or try to output any video here. Also, The 100-watt charging is great for keeping your Steam Deck charged and keeping it powered while you game and whatever. With my Steam Deck specifically, I found if the battery was completely depleted, the charger would not actually activate charging on my Steam Deck, and I had to charge it at least up to a couple percentages that it would turn on before I'd use it with this dock. Just a weird thing. And speaking of operating systems, this card works on Windows, Mac, and Linux without issues, and I've been primarily capturing on Mac and Linux since I don't use Windows anymore. No problems here in OBS or GUVC View for capture here. Links to the Elite Go will be in the description and the forums. Check out my other capture card reviews to learn more about other devices. Sign up on the forums to see when I post videos early. And remember to be kind, rewind.